Okay. Oh, schmack. Hi and welcome to the Ruby Tuesday. My name is Ruben and you are?
Ethan.
Hey, well done. We got our names right.
Hey.
Today we are doing a top 10, but it's a Netflix original anime top 10. First, I should say that our top 10 is very open to interpretation. We've been discussing this for a while as to what is going to go in it, what's not going to make in it. We're going to do some honorable mentions. At the same time, we realize that we're probably not going to have everything that you might like because we haven't seen everything and we couldn't put everything in the top 10. So there are series that haven't made it in, but let's go for it. Okay, starting at number 10. We're going to go from 10 to 1. So starting at number 10, we have...
Be the beginning.
There are 12 episodes, kind of standard for Netflix. Sometimes they do a 26 episode run, which is like double for them, but kind of standard anime amount of episodes, right? Normally you get 26 or thereabouts, yeah. We have 12. So Be the Beginning. Genius investigator Keith Flick rejoins the Royal Police Force, RIS, just as a serial killer, B, emerges and commits a double murder. I really like this, but for a reason I wasn't expecting to. It starts off like a serial killer, intelligent serial killer story, and I like that aspect of it. And then as the episodes progress, it becomes something completely different. What did you like about this?
As it started off, I didn't like it much, but as it progressed, it got better and the story was more complex and enjoyable. I think that is really one of Netflix's strong points. As time goes on in the series, it just gets better and better.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I particularly like the fight sequences in this as well. There's one on a train, on top of the train, without giving anything away. I really thought they showed the animation and the style of what they could do within the anime itself. It was really fun to watch, and like I said, it gets a lot better. In Castlevania, there's 2 seasons of this. Originally, it's been adapted from a game, obviously, and if you are a follower of Castlevania, then you would have been super happy when Netflix started doing this. We never knew if we were going to get a second season, and they basically had to see if it was going to be any good. And when we saw the animation styles within the Castlevania storyline and the acting within the voice acting, basically we got a second season, and the second season is so good. The first season is amazing, but the second sequence really develops the storylines of what we wanted to see, what was happening within the two families, within Dracula. It's vampire goriness and animation at its best. And you haven't seen this yet, have you?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, we fought for what to have in our top 10, and so we had to give way a little bit. I've given some of my titles, and you've given some of yours, and so this is one of mine that I wanted in the top 10 because Castlevania is so good. If you love anime, if you love dark storylines, you should go for this. Love, Death and Robots is an anthology with various amounts of animated styles. If you've seen them, then you'll know the various styles that they choose within each episode, and you'll probably have a few of the episodes that you really loved more than others. Some are funny, some are dark, some are horror. They go through all the genres. But what is evident about Love, Death and Robots is the quality of creativity that they have within this anthology. Which was your favorite? Do you remember?
I remember there were 3 robots traveling and they found a cat and thought it was very dangerous.
Funnily enough, that's as most people like that one.
Yeah, cats have opposable thumbs in that world.
I love the creativity of Love, Death and Robots. It's some of the best animation or animated animation that you're likely to see. It is getting a second season, so jump on board if you haven't seen it yet and just kind of binge it. It's really easy to binge. Some of it is definitely for adults because it has sexual nature content in some of them. I had to do like the Skippy thing on some of it, but so good.
Wafu, which is an anime that is French, and I watched it a couple years ago, rewatched it recently, and it's still just as good as I remember. But having said that, it's aimed at younger audiences. However, it does still have some tendencies to go towards complex storyline and brings up some philosophical questions.
Why you fought to have this one in there? I haven't seen this one, so this is one of the ones that I gave way on. But what was it that resonated with you so much about Wafu?
Well, I think it's because the bad guys are good. They have a backstory. And the dispute between characters in that is actually realistic, despite it being such a young audience.
Yeah, I love it when writers give time to backstories of the bad guys. It's one of the things I always say in my reviews. Your story is only as strong as your bad guys. So
Yeah, I hate to do this, but I'm gonna compare it to the bad guy of Tokyo Ghoul. There is some backstory that explains why they do bad stuff, and Tokyo Ghoul is the only thing I can think of similar to that.
yeah, but Tokyo Ghoul's amazing, so it's a good comparison. Forest of Piano. Tell us about it, Ethan.
Main character is Kai Itchy Nose. They do not have an itchy nose.
So Forest of Piano has 2 seasons. And it's easily bingeable, and it's an anime that you probably won't think that you would get into. I don't love watching pianos. I don't love watching. Who watches pianos?
Me.
I don't love watching general. Oh, you do, yeah. I don't generally watch footage of people playing piano or just classical music in general. But the way they put this together, so the anime is mostly about Chopin, and it's about a contest that some of the best players around the world, or if not the best around the world, and it's all about who's going to become that, top boy. But it's all about the backstory of the 2 main characters, and how they get there, and how they clash and still become friends. And it's actually just really a beautiful story. You, I think, loved it because you love piano, and you were kind of resonated with that. But also the classical music.
Yes, I do like classical music, but mainly because I like fast music, and that's about the depth I have to my music taste.
Yeah, but you love the skill behind being able to play those notes. And I would say that it's pretty accurate, right?
It is. The shots of piano were sometimes CG, but even if they were still very accurate, as far as I can tell.
Yeah. So with storyline, I think this is really great. The animation's a bit iffy in the second season. Feels like they had a bit of a lesser budget in the second season. I think we commented that on our review, which you can check on our channel. Series the Jaeger. This is one that Ethan fought for to get in this top 10, and I can see why. It's a similar premise. It's about vampires basically, but the story around the vampires is really interesting. And again, it's all about backstory. It's all about character development. One of the main reasons why we have these titles in our top 10 is because those stories really resonate with us. So the animation is almost second. If it's good animation, fine. If it's bad animation, we can probably let it go. But if the storyline is good, which I think Series Jaeger is, it very quickly gets you involved in wanting, you're rooting for the characters. And I think that's probably why you fought to have it in.
Yeah, it's, like I said, the strong point of Netflix. As the story progresses, it just gets better and better.
Yeah.
So by the end, I ended up really liking it.
So that's our 10 to 5. Before we do our top 4, 4, 3, 2, 1, because I can count that much at least, we're going to do some honorable mentions. So our honorable mentions are, one is Cannon Busters. It was a Netflix original that just released. I really enjoyed the protagonist. You not so much.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting dynamic, because you like the characters in the story around, I guess, like the car. The car is in itself a character, which is fantastic. It has so many genres that it crosses boundaries with. It's like Power Rangers. It's a lot of weird stuff going on here. It has influences of Firefly, which is another boundary in genre in science fiction, fantasy. I just like the main character because he reminds me of Han Solo. He's that kind of ruffian.
Our second honourable mention is Ico Incarnation, which is about a government project gone wrong, where they create a biological AI that infects a majority of a country, and they have to seal it off. The main character goes on a mission with 2 other people, I believe. No, not 2 other people.
There's multiple people that join the team along the way.
Yes.
And they form these 2 groups, but along the way they're just met with this, I guess, DNA that is mutating, and they're having to fight their way through on very cool mechanical machines. Like they're like Gundam wings, but really small. They're on like roller skates. Yeah. I like the way they incorporated that. It's a lot of fun. I would say almost being contradictory to what I said earlier. I really like just the story and not so much the characters. That for me, I thought the story of the DNA and the cellular stuff, I thought that was really interesting. The science, I don't know if it's real, but fun.
doubtful that the science is real, but
Yes.
it was a very original idea,
Yeah.
and they executed it well.
What you said, original.
Netflix.
Netflix. Oh. Seven Seeds, and this was an interesting one. I actually like another anime at the moment that's on Crunchyroll called Dr. Stone. That's very similar to this, but this is also very good. Why do you like this one?
Well, I would say it's an original idea, but then Dr. Stone
Dr. Stone.
exists.
But that came afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other than that, though, it is original.
Yeah, it's a rebirth of Earth.
And I think they've executed it well, like
Yep.
Netflix does. And as Netflix does, it gets better as the time goes on.
Yeah, the characters are very superficial at first, and they can be annoying at the beginning. But once the world starts expanding,
And once they die off,
and once they die off, you really start getting into the storyline. I really like seeing how they have to survive now with destroyed skyscrapers and the debris of the world, the way what's left of it, and seeing your character survive is like the millions of survival live TV series that we have now, but in anime format with quirky dialogue, and I think that storyline works well.
I think the main strong suit of this anime was the backstory. Almost every character had a very strong backstory, and because each team was woken up at a different time, it means that you could have even more backstory of the time that they spent alone.
Yeah, it's a clever way to do it. Yeah.
Especially this one guy who has a pack of dogs.
Pack of dogs guy. Look out for him. So number 3 is an original anime, kind of. It's Mudgy and...
Adventures of Sinbad.
Thank you. But there is another series that you need to watch with that, which is Sinbad. And it's kind of one story. So we would say that although this is an original, watch the other one. They're in the same world. There is a main character, Sinbad, that's in the Mudgy storyline, who's very entertaining and really fun to watch. But Mudgy, we watched first. The main character has some flaws. Here he is a genie. With this anime, they do that kind of thing that a lot of anime do, unfortunately, where he's kind of pervy, a little kid, but he's pervy. But it's the adventuring that's really fun in this, where you go into dungeons, where you see Mudgy how he interacts with the world, and you want him to fix justice. I remember being like, no, that's so bad, you gotta help these guys, but he sometimes does get involved. It's one of the first anime where I see the character is written like you see injustice and then he does something about it, and thankfully that's brilliant, because most of the time the characters just don't do anything about it in various other anime. It's excellent.
It's nice to see someone that actually has the power to do things in an anime and isn't underwhelming the whole time.
Yeah, he doesn't have to build up to it. He just is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really fun.
Yeah.
That's why it's on our top 3. The leader of the 7 deadly sins is one of the most pervious characters you're likely to see. I remember a friend of ours watching this with us, and she was just like, how can you watch this? This is terrible. And if you walk in at the wrong time, then you might say that, because for some reason there's anime that's written that way, right? Where the characters, Naruto has it, there was pervy sage as part of the comedy aspect of that. I'm not saying it's right, it's just is written into most anime.
Good example is Food Wars.
Exactly, Food Wars will be the prime example. But the 7 deadly sins, again, character development. Each of the sins characters are brilliant. I love each individual characters because they're just great. The way they interact with each other. The leader, and is it Bon?
Yeah, the immortal guy.
There's a character that's immortal. And just seeing how they use their powers throughout the storylines was amazing. We also had to wait a very long time to get the next season, which was very frustrating.
And then the next season wasn't really a season.
Season 2 was 4 episodes, and they're just playing with us. And then season 3, the actual next season, was fantastic. But I don't want to give anything away, because it kind of does lead into, from season 1, what they were building up to, the big bad, into season 3. Yeah. Best part of 7 Deadly Sins?
The main character, the leader, fights himself.
He's got demons to fight. It's got his inner self to fight. That sounds like it's so meme.
Yeah.
I gotta fight myself. Yeah, there's some epic battle sequences. If you're thinking we haven't had an anime in here that has enough action, here's one that when the fighting gets going is just really brilliant.
At number 1, we finally have Children of the Whales, formerly named Children of the Mud Whales.
Yes, I'm glad you knew that. Yeah, this is one we both agreed, which was amazing. I put my number 1, and Ethan put his number 1, and I was like, whoa, we both agree on this. This is how good that is. So you have two different age gaps. Me on the really young side, Ethan on the really old side, and we met in with our number 1 space. This is an original idea, like really, really interesting idea.
The only remotely similar thing I could think of is Kino's journey
Yeah.
in one single episode with a moving city.
Yeah.
But then they developed the story further, and I can't think of anything like that.
The only thing I could remotely find that would be anything close to this idea would be Terry Pratchett's Whale. He has this disc world. And the only reason why I can do anything comparison to this is because where these characters live, they're basically on a moving turtle whale thing. Yeah, it's fantastic. It's so original. The characters are amazing. The story will keep you wanting more. And it's one of the most frustrating things about this anime, that when you get to the end, you just want to know more.
And there is no second season.
There's nothing more. But enjoy it. Savor every episode. Don't rush it. Don't look away. This is our top. This is our top for a reason.
You might want to look away a bit, though. It does get quite dark.
Look away for a moment. But yeah, it's really good. Yeah. Obviously, we haven't mentioned some content because we haven't seen them. There are other honorable mentions we could have mentioned, like Bucky and Kengan Ashura. Those are great.
Violet
Evergarden. There's a cornucopia of anime on Netflix. Some originals, some not. We are going to do a top 10 of anime on Netflix, but not originals. And we're going to do a top 10 of animation, not anime. Because there's so much when it comes to hand-drawn stuff in that world, in the animated world, to draw from. Really great content. So look out for that. But let us know in the comments below, which are your top 10? Which are your favorites? I'm sure we've missed out a few, but thanks so much for watching us blab about our favorite animes. But most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.